she just took this breath and it was just silent.
Medical binder, a lifesaver.
Sometimes I don't mean to be stern, but sometimes it just needs to be done.
Encouraging others with hope and positivity as a family caregiver to my mom, aka Queen G, and as a full-time stay-at-home homemaker. A variety of videos sharing caregiving tips, cooking, gardening, decluttering, cleaning, hauls, meal planning, always in my planner, chatting, and sometimes a burst of laughs. Let's face it, things happen in life, so why not make it lovely?
Closed down 2 of those lanes for a little bit. We've seen improvements in your drive time, but it's still a little backed up, around 22 minutes to make your crossing. Richmond Center fell at 11 minutes to get you across there, and the Golden Gate Bridge is just fine. It's just the fog you'll be encountering once you get north of it, heading into the North Bay.
All right, we are, long story, but as you can see, no Queen G. We're gonna go get her. We're gonna bust her out. I'll explain.
You in pain? What's the matter?
2.
2? How many fingers?
3.
And you see what day it is?
October 20th.
And then like she just took this breath and it was just silent. And then that's when the fireman and the paramedic, they both looked at each other and then they went into action. They just took out their big scissors and just cut through her blouse, opened her up, and then they started putting all these stickers on her. I guess that was a defibrillator at that time. I rushed over to her head and I just kept stroking her hair, just repeatedly telling her that I'm here, I love you, I'm here. And I just kept doing that, where she just all of a sudden, it was so silent. I just thought maybe that was the top. Jay tried to grab me, you know, you don't want to see this, you don't want to see this. And I was like, no, leave me alone. Don't. This is where I want to be. This is where I need to be. I don't want her to be alone. So I was just there. The odd thing was that I was calm at that moment. I was calm. And the paramedic, the young girl, came around to me and she says, ma'am, I need this space right. And I said, oh yeah. So that's when I stepped away from Queen G. And then all of a sudden I heard her just take a big deep breath. And then that's when one of the firemen says, and welcome back, Jenny. And she was like looking around like, what just happened? A funny thing, not so funny, is that they immediately got her in the ambulance. She was alert. She was looking at me. I was holding her hand. As they closed the door on her to take her, I ran inside the house to gather everything, the medical binder, my purse, my sweatshirt. I was trying to put on my shoes and get out as quickly as I can so I can follow. I'm also on the phone with my sister, just panicking because what I just witnessed and what I just saw. And my sister from that phone call, my sister heard it in my voice how serious this was and just how terrifying it was. So Jay and I, we hurried up and we got into our truck and we we hightailed it down to the hospital. And while we were pulling into the parking lot of ER, you can see the fireman crew who was with us at our house, and they were the ones, because as I was in my bedroom getting my stuff all gathered, I was like, wow, that's really loud. I heard the ambulance siren, and then I heard the fire truck, and then it dawned on me that, oh my gosh, they're escorting Queen G all the way to the hospital. That rarely happens around here. I can't explain it. I always tell you guys that there's something about Queen G. I think she's like, seriously, I've always been told that she's royal in her past life. So I don't know, it's just crazy. I can't explain things, that things just open up. Mother Nature, anytime she goes outside, I'll stop raining and the clouds will open and the sun will come, you know, that kind of thing. And here this woman gets an escort. Because why not? She is Queen G, right? So that kind of put a smile on our face when we first, you know, got into the parking lot. And Jay looked at me, he goes, how cool is that? But not so cool, you know? Yeah. Now, from being in the hospital the last time that we were there, I knew that room 30 and 31 is like the crash room. That's like serious ER. They go in those rooms, you know, heart attacks, whatever. And I was like, please, 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 please don't be in 30 or 31. I was waiting and waiting, and finally I was allowed to go in, and she told me that she was in room 30. I was walking down the hallway, and it felt like I was almost running, like I was running to her. I just wanted to see if she was okay. And then when I got to her, she just smiling. And I said, oh, thank you, Jesus. So I went in there, I hurried up, and I hugged her, and I was just hugging her, and just, you know, just telling her how I'm just so happy to see her. And we were holding hands, and then she told me that room 31, the guy didn't make it. And then all of a sudden we started hearing the wife crying, and I was like, it was gut-wrenching. And I was like, great, here I got my mom, I'm trying to console her, and the patient, unfortunately, next to us didn't make it. And so the family's coming in, and they're crying, and they're praying over the body, and I was just like, oh man. So then I just calmed Queen G down. I said, look, I said, why don't we say a prayer? You know, let's say a prayer for him and his family. So we just held each other's hands, and I had our cheeks together, and then we just did a prayer for him and his family. But man, her potassium was a 2.6, which is extremely low from a 4.0. So they said that most likely that's what had happened, and obviously they admitted her and wanted to keep you know, monitoring her. So she was then admitted to the hospital, where she stayed overnight, and they said that they didn't find anything else wrong. So they were saying that the diagnosis was that the heart rhythm is due to potassium. Who knew that potassium is that extremely important in our bodies, people? I didn't know. I'm like, you know, I don't know. I'll get into this rant a little later. My sister came into town yesterday. They're discharging her from the hospital, and yeah, she's wiped out. I'm wiped out. I'm like really wiped out. Yeah. Your girl is wiped out. Check out what Jay got. Got the big size meow mix.
It was on sale.
It was on sale, he says. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh, look how expensive milk is. $6.49, $3.69. I need eggs. $7.49 for 18. $5.49. Oh look. Oh man, we missed the 99 cents again. Oh, look at that moon. Do you see it? Sister's with my mom in the room. Jay is grilling up some ribeyes for us. As my sister's sitting with Queen G. Queen G's doing okay. She's
She's smiling and she's feeling much better. How are you doing?
Good.
Good.
How are you doing?
I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging in there. Thank you.
Try not to burn the steaks.
Yeah, try not to burn the steaks. I took a really good nap, so that helped me out. On Sunday, I gave Queen G a nice warm sponge bath and washed her hair and let her rest that day. Before my sister left, I took Jay out for a quick afternoon date. Then we took my sister and mom out to Olive Garden before I dropped off my sister at the Oakland airport later. That celebration didn't last long. Next day, I received a call to take Queen G back to ER immediately. It's about almost 8 o'clock. We're back in the hospital. Mom is okay. She's in good spirits. So the first time it was seizure related. The second time it was severe low potassium level related that regulates the heart. She was given lots of potassium, increased potassium, and she was discharged to come home. This time I got a call yesterday morning from the doctor's front desk telling me that I had to take my mom back to ER ASAP per the doctor's findings of a blockage in her heart. And I'm like, what? Because I was next door talking with Oneida and I thought, oh my gosh, okay. So I called Jay, called my sister, told them what's going on, and I told them that I can't wait for Jay to get home and then we would transport my mom. I just didn't want to take that chance. And so I called the ambulance, the EMT came. Of course, they questioned me the whole 9 yards. Don't let anybody intimidate you on your decision on calling 911. My neighbor across the street, he is a police officer, and he was visiting his parents across the street, and I'm all waving him over. The police officer here, and he's right here, and they're like, oh, okay. Leverage. Paramedics showed up. They were just questioning me, my decision on calling them, and I just, whatever. I just told them this is just the way it needs to be. I don't have a way to transport her, and I want her to be as safe as possible on the way to the hospital. So once we get there, guess what? The ER had no clue why we were there, so they put us in holding in a room until the ER doctor can get a hold of her primary doctor who had ordered us to be there in the first place. And then they confirmed that there was a blockage. So that patch that she was sent home, the Zeo patch, that showed peaking in her heart rate, like from 78 to 120, hitting 208 heartbeats. Right? And then it would drop down to the low 30s. So there's something going on in there electrically in the heart. So I wanted her to get a stress test done so that I know there's no blockage like in the arteries or in the physical part of the heart, just to make sure, because I said, hey, I don't, if she needs a pacemaker, if that's recommended, if that's all she needs, I'm for the pacemaker. However, I don't want to be in this situation again. I don't want her to be back, because there's another blockage that we didn't catch in the first place, I don't want this to be a temporary fix. So he agreed to do a stress test for me, and then he's also going to have a second opinion with another cardiologist. So she was in good spirits. She was actually kind of, smiling at me, and I got to notify all of our family, her family. I stayed with her until about 8 o'clock when they took her up to the room because they wanted to wait for the cardiologist to see her before in ER. Jay is actually at work because we're not going to do anything too much today. Different doctors will come by, nutritionists are going to come by. She needs help with eating, she needs entertainment. So I told Jay, don't worry about it, I got mom. And then of course she's going to do the stress test and the cardiologist. So that should be my whole day. Packed up some of her stuff like her regular toothbrush, Vaseline. I even gave her a box of Kleenex because the one that they have, like 10 tissues per box. That ain't gonna work. And I got myself a banana. I'm gonna stop and grab something to eat. A subscriber gave this to us, and I don't know if they're gonna allow me to bring in flowers per se, because I saw another person and he was taking back his dozen of roses, him and his son. So just to be safe, I decided I'm gonna bring these to her and place it next to her. So isn't that pretty? Subscriber, thank you so much. This really came in handy. And I got my laptop because I really want to edit and get some stuff. And of course, I have her handy dandy medical binder, a lifesaver. I think I'm pretty much ready to go now. I took my own pills. I actually slept pretty good last night. I have Tylenol extra, you know, blood pressure pills. Good, I got that. Contacts, scrunchie, because it's going to be a long day. And I wanted to also, I never have any of my YouTube sticker logo stickers on me. I don't really tell everybody that I'm a YouTuber and I got a YouTube channel, but I always tell myself with certain people that I meet that, oh man, I wish I had a sticker. I gotta get going before Queen G wakes up, although I know she's not up. They have a full cafeteria. It's about 8:15. Yeah, I gotta get going. So that's the update.
EMS recorded a strip where you were in that dangerous heart rhythm for like 30 seconds or so. Do we just do a pacemaker and make sure the heart rates don't go slow? Or do we put in a defibrillator, which is an extra step to the pacemaker that, let's say you went into that dangerous heart rhythm again, that it shocks you out of it? It is the chance of being shocked unnecessarily, but people can also say, well, it was the potassium. You know, when potassium gets that low, it can induce those kinds of heart rhythms. All of that is.
So this is only a one-time shot of getting a defibrillator forever?
Not forever.
If they discharge us saying that it's on low potassium, then I gotta trust these doctors here and you guys as well saying that it is low potassium. I mean, this is our third time here. Are you sure that this is it? It's electrical, it's not physical? No, but before we start adding the defibrillator, I'd rather see other solid evidence that, okay, then that definitely needs to be done.
Sometimes I don't mean to be stern, but sometimes it just needs to be done.
I'm gonna just grab something at the cafeteria and head back on my hike to the other building. Put my steps in. Between the old building to their new building. Where Queen G is at is where like the critical care is, but she's not in critical care. It's definitely a foggy day here. So going back and forth is what I do. So she's in the brand new building. She is downstairs getting a heart stress test. So I went down and grabbed a sandwich. But they have a couch, which is nice. Look at her view. I'm like, really, Queen? That's why she's Queen J. Look at that view. Gorgeous. Can you imagine the sunrise over there? She's doing okay. Cardiologist. The second one is getting to know me very well. There's her flowers. She absolutely loved that.
All right, ready to head out. It's about 7:15.
I helped her with physical therapy. Had her sit on the edge of the bed, and then I did some bed exercises with her. And then I helped her brush her teeth, wash her face, and then changed her. And now we're ready to go to bed. Procedure's gonna be tomorrow morning. There are some risks, but not as high, so I feel better. Jay's at home right now, and Queen G's comfortable, and that's all I care about. So I'm gonna get home and get some rest, you guys. Be here tomorrow.